Just a little update in the seedling room. The mung beans are growing just fine in here, so I'm happy with the alfalfa and will incorporate it into the garden. The eggplants transplanted fine. The spearmints are doing much, much better. The second round, so much more came up, and they're looking so much healthier than my first round. The chia, black chia, needs to be up potted soon. I'm just waiting on my paper pots. The paper hasn't come in yet. And then this is my snapdragons. They have done really well, coming up really nicely. So I'm very excited to have a new batch of those flowers. The peppers also need to be up potted soon. And then my ground cherry, which I seeded last week, are up. I've got a good number of seeds that germinated, and hopefully I can get them a little bit bigger before I can up pot them. I've only seen one loss to the damping off, where the leaves are just gone. But the rest look good and healthy, and there might even still be a few more seeds still coming up. And while we're currently experiencing third winter, last week was fake spring, another fake spring. So last week I got a fair amount done around the property, and I captured a little bit on film, and I'll update you on other stuff I hadn't gotten on film. I started to get some of these bins cleared up. I usually put potatoes in here. I'm going to try it again this year. I got a fairly good, decent harvest out of them last year. So these have quite a bit of just leaf mulch that I dumped in the fall. I do want to put some of the alfalfa pellets in here because the chicken manure won't be composted enough by the time I need to put the potatoes in. And I don't want them to cause any damage. This bed this bed needs to be leveled out, really. It's still quite a bit of a slope, and there's still some water running off that's causing problems. So I have to build up the soil a little bit more here, and maybe even um, dig in the border to prevent more water running in. It's going to be a project for another day, but mostly cleaning this up. The voles have made some residence here in the winter and have really made a mess of the foxgloves. But I have three really nice plants here. I thought I had more, but I guess they just grew into each other. But these three look really healthy, and I'm excited to see the flowers that come out of them. Now, foxgloves are biennial, so I need to sow another succession of them if I want to keep having foxgloves. Because this year they'll flower, and then if I have successful seedlings this season, then those will flower next year. And there's just a lot of chickweed for the chickens, the yarrow stems that are dead have to be taken out of here. I don't have much hope that the chamomile seeds that have fallen in are still in this bed, that they've washed away. And even if they hadn't washed away, I'm going to be burying them in an inch or two of new soil, so they won't be coming up. I did winter sow chamomile, so hopefully those come up and I can transplant them when the time comes. Now, I had this idea last year, but didn't get around to getting it done, so hopefully this year it works out. But once again, voles, all I ever talk about nowadays, is a problem here. They live under the, I think these are juniper bushes. They smell like juniper, but they're under there. I've seen them. And anything edible I plant here is is kind of just silliness. But I'm gonna try planting the seeds in a mesh of sorts and see if that'll work. Otherwise, this was just a waste of time. But maybe I can grow some other vining things here that are flowers. that they won't touch. But we shall see. We shall see. And on another day, I tackled the asparagus patch. I'm just clearing out the leaf mulch so that I can get some chicken manure on here, which I failed to do over the winter cleanup. Plus, moving the mulch over will also help the soil warm up a little bit because it'll get direct contact sun. It'll get direct sunlight. Now this is, I believe, my 4th year with the asparagus that I grew from seed. It's been pretty good the last year specifically, but they don't grow humongous here because this is pretty packed clay that I stuck them in. But they're still plentiful and they're still delicious, so this is where they're gonna stay. So I'm just grabbing some chicken coop poop for distribution. So the wind does turn, so I have to go grab my mask so I don't inhale all that stuff. But this should be a really good crop of asparagus this year. Very excited. So that's it for this edition of Spring Outdoor Projects 2024. So, well, harvest more. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.